everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. My name is Candace Marie. Thanks for joining me. Happy Friday. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Thank you guys for hanging with me. We had a little bit of a delay. There are some really gnarly storms going on where I live here in Texas. So I guess I have to kind of forewarn everybody. Hopefully it's going to pass, but we've been having all kinds of weird electrical things over the last week or two. So for whatever reason, if you lose me, well, you know what happened. And we'll be sure to try to come back onto the link. But I'm going to keep telling you guys that just in case people pop in and they're like, where did you go? But fingers crossed, let's hope that Mercury is with us. It never ceases to amaze me, you know, retrogrades, but especially really close to Uranus, always seems to like really impact me. So I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Give everybody a few minutes to kind of pop in. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm a Western astrologer. I provide clairvoyant readings where I use both tarot and astrology in my private practice. Maybe you guys have seen some of my other videos. Every Friday night here, I am doing live readings. We alternate between tarot and astrology. This week we're going to be doing tarot. So if you'd like to get a reading, if you haven't had a reading before, there's a QR code right here. You can scan that with your phone. It's going to take you directly to my PayPal where you can make a donation. We are requesting a $20 donation for one card, and it's $40 for a 3-card spread. Ask whatever you'd like. So once you scan that and you get to my PayPal, put in your name, any other details you'd like to include. Sometimes people like to share their astrological placements. You can do that too, and let me know specifically what your question is. And then we will be doing the readings in the order that we receive them. If you guys could also please give me a thumbs up and like the stream. That's really helpful for getting the stream out there into YouTube. And if you guys happen to be on my level 3 memberships, if you'd like to get a reading, please let me know. Obviously, this is going to be the last one for the month of April. If you guys weren't aware, I do have memberships. There's 3 different levels for whoever wants to support my work. If you like my content, for pretty much any price range that you guys can afford. But level 3, you are going to get a reading once a month, which is kind of cool. And you're going to be at the top of the list. So you don't have to wait if you want to jump in and get a reading during one of the lives. Please consider joining my memberships if you like my content. And let me give you a rundown of who I have for readings for who has already signed up for this evening. But if there's any level 3 people that are popping in that want to get their reading, please let me know. What's up, Sonia? Hey, Marsha. Hey, London. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like right when I moved to Texas, it was like within like not even a few weeks, there was all kinds of like warnings. I mean, nothing that came close to where I was living, but I was like, this is wild. And it's crazy. It'll be like in the 80s and the 90s, and then a storm rolls through and it's like hailing outside right now. So yay. Well, let's see what happens. Oh boy. There we are. All right, well, let's see what happens. Hopefully we're good. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah, we had a feeling that might happen. All right, let's give it a second and see what goes on here. Thank you guys. Sorry. The storm was supposed to be passed right by the time that we started, and it had like a delay for about an hour. So I can predict the astrology. I cannot predict the weather, ironically. So let me let you guys know who I've got already, who has gotten in line for a reading. msbg, Rashina, Miss V, Annette, Alana, Marsha, Matt, Vani, Lori, Salamar, and Sarah. Thank you guys for your patience. All right, cool. Is there anybody who's level 3? Anybody? Bueller? All right, let me reload this and just give you guys a thank you also to all of the members on the channel. Give you guys your shout outs because this list gets longer and longer and longer. It's crazy. Okay, so we've got here Coco, Jen, Sharon, Susanna, Christine, Stephanie Carrillo, Deb, The Mystic Road, Barbara Smith, Penny, Steve, Paula, Maui, Catherine, Claudia, Angela, Willow, Emma, Susan H., Miss Taliba, Jackie, Harazed, Nancy Celerito, Jessica Martinez, and Susan Wexler. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. You're awesome. Some of you guys have been supporting the channel for like 2 years since I first started doing my membership. So that's awesome. It's great to see that grow. With all of your guys' love and support, you guys make it possible for me to be able to create this content full time and dedicate more time to this. And I'm still got more things that I'm going to be working on over the summer. So stay tuned to what we've got going on. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the tarot readings. We'll leave the queue open for a little bit longer. And just as a reminder, if you guys want to sign up, here's the QR code. Scan that. You guys can make your donation. Please put your question in the memo. It would be super helpful. Christine says, I love this long list. David's here. Hi, London. Hi, EH. Hey, Deb. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and get into our list of people. So let's start with msbg. Thank you for giving me your birthday and your birth time. Hopefully tarot's okay for you. For the 3rd time, I plan to move to Vegas without my ex. I ended a confusing 15-year alliance in September of 2022. We've had no contact since. I need to be sure I'm good to move uninterrupted this time. Thanks. Be curious to know what your ascendant sign is. I'm sure you know. Pop in and let me know if you have that information. If you want an astrology reading, we will be doing them next week. It will not be on Friday, though. It'll probably be a day earlier because of the eclipse. But let's take a look at what you need to know about moving this time after ending that long-term relationship. Oh, got one of the face cards. Hold on. Sorry, guys. It's a new deck. All right, that's the final card. There we go. To be honest with you, I see nothing but good news, although it does seem like it's not the easiest decision to make. Kind of see me in the feed, sorry. All right, so we've got the Lover's card followed by the King of Swords and then the Knight of Cups. So I'm wondering, what's the deal? Like, have you been leaving enough like ample time to allow him to reach back out, and like now you're kind of feeling like you're getting to that point where you're like, I'm not waiting anymore, now I'm moving forward? The Lovers does talk about options, choices, and it also does talk about 2 different people. So 2 people in a romantic situation, choosing between 2 people, choosing between 2 places, how 2 things could pan out, right? And the Lovers can also talk about, is there something else out there? So it's not even just so much about that person that you separated from. It can mean like, you know, is there a separate path where I do move to another place and I potentially have a completely different life? Gemini ascendant. Okay. So one thing you want to watch for that we are going to be having soon, especially as we're getting into Gemini season here, you know, within just a couple of weeks, look to that Sagittarius full moon. That's going to give you some more insight. The cards seem to be positive about moving, but the cards are also kind of indicating that there is like a path where you're like, well, maybe I would consider something else if there was more direct contact or communication. The Knight of Swords coming up can talk about a back and forth that you're having with another person. So it can be another man. It can be somebody who's an air sign. So it can be a, you know, Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, but it can also be talking about somebody really showing up and owning what it is they have to say. So it's not just about telling you what you want to hear, but being the bigger person to be like, okay, I want to call and talk about things and like, let's hash this out and like see if there's a path forward. Generally, kings are a master of something. So I think with the Lover's card and the King of Swords, as much as I hate to say it, it's just kind of like, if he was going to jump in and say something, right, that would be the one thing that would keep you from leaving. Personally, because the Lovers card is a mental card, it does have connections to Gemini. It does talk about maybe thinking about things or going back and forth or being indecisive sometimes, not knowing whether or not you should, give into temptation and reach out and call, or even like let him know that you're moving or potentially moving. The King of Swords can also be talking about you on a personal level, that you're deciding to exercise your ability to make a decision and stick to it. So it's about a masculine energy, about really seeing through your plans. I don't think this is something that you're just doing on a whim. I don't think that you were just like, oh, I'm just going to move and, we'll see what happens. Like, the King of Swords coming up in the right now is basically saying, really thinking about it, really working through all the pros and the cons, but also that there have been either agreements or things that you're signing or things that you're working on or putting in motion that can be binding. That's literally setting you up to be more committed to making this decision. Air is an element that is masculine, so it's going to be active. So sometimes when people ask me, well, am I going to be moving, or am I going to be making the journey, or am I going to sign the contract? Getting air or fire is like a yes, but to me, this is kind of suggesting you've already mentally kind of committed to this decision, or maybe you have already started telling people that you are going to be moving. Maybe you've already made up your mind, but you haven't like admitted it yet. And then the final card that you get is the Nine of Cups. And so this is a really positive card. This is the getting everything you want, good luck, everything playing out type of vibe. I think there's some temptation here. Whenever I see the Lovers card, there's some temptation of being like, is it possible for me to move and have a second path or start over and for things to go well? Am I losing on some really significant connection if I'm moving forward and kind of leaving this person? To be honest with you, I feel like if you're going to make the move and if you've already committed to this decision, you got to go. The bottom card for me is always the confirmation card, and I think it's rather amazing that it's the Fool card, so it's saying like it's time to kind of be on your way. I also feel like there is some sense of adventure that's tied to this, because the King of Swords is somebody who really thinks everything through and plans everything out, and can have a tendency to like seem like he's coming across like he's a little standoffish, or he's like not open to having other people join him. But I think that the Fool coming up is kind of saying like it can be a nice way of hitting restart and seeing a restart, even potentially in your romantic life. So even if you're going and you're leaving and you're on your own, perhaps there's going to be other people that are going to kind of factor into this, that there is, the potential for you to find happiness, and also for you to find that this segue may actually potentially work in your favor. I think just being a Gemini rising in general, considering you are going to be having, Saturn through your whole sign 10th, so you kind of feel like the weight of the world on your shoulders and more responsibility. You're also going to be seeing that, Jupiter is hanging out in your natal 12th house pretty soon. So there's going to be this sense of like wanting to kind of retreat and go into your cocoon for the next year until you're ready to kind of come out into the world. And if you don't make the decision to do it now, you may make the decision to do it later in the year. So, once again, going off of you being a Gemini rising, Venus retrograde in your 3rd house this summer is a back and forth, like hearing from somebody or making a decision and going in a different direction, potentially with a move, because the 3rd house is movement. And then a Mercury retrograde that's going to happen in Virgo in your 4th house. So, personally, I feel like if you're going to make the move, really commit to it and be committed to being like, I'm actually starting over. I'm going to be in this new place. Don't get tempted back into, well, what if I hear from him, or what if he calls me? What if I make the move and then he wants to reconnect? Like, really commit to being there for a solid period of time and moving forward into new potential career and relationship and friendship, like opportunities. Like, you have to actually give that to yourself, because sometimes the King of Swords can be about creating that boundary and like having a fresh start and moving on from what sometimes feels like a little like entangled, right? This deck in general has 2 Lovers cards, and this one particular card talks about where if you let the darker side of a relationship kind of take over, you can lose yourself in it. You can get kind of wrapped up in that person and you can't really see so clearly. So make the commitment to really move forward and like not allow that person to be a part of the journey. And guess what? Making the decisions to move forward and move on and go elsewhere. If somebody else really wants to be with you, they'll figure that out. But don't alter your plans once you've committed, because it looks like it actually might play out pretty well. Okay? I hope that's helpful for you. Good luck. We've got Rashina and then Miss V and Annette. You're on deck. Rashina, did you have a particular question for me? You're welcome, Chase. Otherwise, I will give you a general reading. All right, so let's pick 3 cards for Rashina. Just throwing it out there, send a separate donation to upgrade my card pull. Thank you, London. Appreciate it. This is for Rashina. So you just put 3 card live. So you are 2/19/79. So you are right on the cusp of being a Aquarius Pisces, huh? So the cards that I get for you are the 3 of Pentacles, the 2 of Cups, and the Knight of Wands. Interesting, because to me, these cards talk a lot about working with another person, working together, working towards a common goal, working on finances, working on career, bringing in another client, some kind of like really feeling like you're coming together and feeling inspired with another person. So it really depends on what your question is. But the first card being the 3 of Pentacles, it represents like team building exercises. So whether that's like, you know, growing a business, looking for somebody to help give you guidance and really help you with the process of developing a service, working on your finances, you know, getting the job done, right? It's a team effort card. What I like about 3s is it does talk about more than one person being involved, and it can be that 2 people are working on bettering themselves in order to come together and have more, just kind of being able to work together in a much more fluid sense. Sometimes this card comes up when somebody's like really working on building their finances, or when somebody's really working on perfecting some of their skills in regards to their profession. Then we have the 2 of Cups, and this is why I got like the relationship aspect of it, because generally the 3 of Pentacles can be like a very physical, financial, or like health or career related card. But when it gets factored in with the now position of the 2 of Cups, this is about relationships, partnerships. Cups are the element of water, so it can talk about romantic relationships. It can talk about a blossoming work relationship or a professional collaboration that's going on. 2 of Cups can also be an offer. So it can be that somebody comes in and says, hey, can we collaborate? Can we work together? You know, how would we work together? But it can also be like an offer, like an invitation to go out to dinner with somebody, to have a drink. It can be an invitation to exchange and kind of talk shop, right? But in a way that could turn like romantic. So I wonder, is there like a potential brewing relationship that's somehow stemming from a professional atmosphere? Possibly. 2 of Cups can also be a card that is an indication of an incoming relationship. So that being in the current position, I could also look at this and go, okay, maybe you've been in the process of like really working on yourself. Maybe you've been super focused on work, and maybe you're pivoting a little bit and going, I need to kind of switch things up. I need more diversity in my life right now. I can't just be all work and no play. I'm going to put myself out there and see if I'm going to meet someone. And so this can be a really good omen that there's about to be a positive shift with your romantic life. If you're in a current relationship, it can be saying that you're working hard on being able to find the time, make the time to have more togetherness, and also be really kind of nurturing each other emotionally, learning how to communicate and share and be more open to one another. Then the final card is the Knight of Wands. So for like a single person, I would be like, look, if you're looking, you've done the work. Now you're coming into the process of, you know, getting ready to connect with somebody. Keep your eyes out, because it would be somebody who would probably be a fire sign. So it could be like a Leo, Sag, or an Aries. The Knight of Wands is a fun card, okay? Knights are dedicated to their cause, so it can be an indication that somebody comes in very quickly, but it can also be like somebody comes in, they sweep you off your feet. It could be a very physical relationship. There could be a lot of passion. It can also be an indication that there is a lot of excitement that comes from this. There could be travel, there could be going places and having new experiences and meeting other people and being able to kind of have fun and really live in the moment. The Knight of Wands is not always known for his commitment, okay? So for the confirmation card that I get on the bottom, 5 of Cups, I was already feeling this, because when the Knight of Wands comes up in the final position, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that they can leave as quickly as they come in. So just keep that in mind if you're looking for what might be like a stronger connection. Somebody may come in and kind of tempt you into a really quick, hot and heavy relationship that can be more so physical. It can be more so fun. There can be a little bit more of like a cat and mouse game going on. And I would say take your time, especially because the 3 of Pentacles is the first card. So it's saying you're really focusing on getting grounded, being consistent, having a routine, making sure that you have all your bases covered in your life. And if you're just now opening yourself up to a relationship, don't just glob on to the first person who shows up, because likely they're going to say whatever they need to say to kind of sweep you off your feet. And they may really wine and dine you, but it may be somebody who is also still needing freedom. It may be somebody who is also like on the go. So sometimes when these cards come up, it's like somebody who travels, or, you know, maybe they're a performer, maybe they are involved in like athletics, because the Knight of Wands is somebody who's very active. So knights, they ride horses, they go places, they kind of come back and forth quite frequently. It may mean that it's possible, especially if you're in an industry that's involved in transportation or entertainment or anything in regards to like events, or maybe you have to go somewhere like that. You may connect to this person. Sometimes if you take a look at the knight, sometimes they actually look like their suit. And so something that I've noticed about the wands is they either have like more of like a warmer kind of complexion. They may also have like more of like a warmer color to their hair. There can be a sense of them being super feisty and really like, you know, like excitable and kind of playful and charming and charismatic. They're very extroverted. So it's not going to be somebody who's going to be quiet. It's going to be somebody who's going to be quite forward and direct. I like this for you. If you are coming from a period of being like, hey, I don't want to just jump into any professional relationship, I don't want to just jump into any romantic relationship, take your time. Do not rush into this, because I do not want to see you make this like the relationship or the person that you end up working with to kind of get back on the horse, because this may not be somebody who's necessarily got to stay. A lot of what this person may be coming in to teach you is to be in the moment, right? It's about being in the moment. Good luck. We'll leave the sign-ups open for like another 2 or 3 minutes. So if you guys want to sign up, you can scan the QR code right down here. It's $20 for 1 card and $40 for 3 cards by donation. I've got Miss V, Annette, and then Alana. What's up, Miss V? Ooh, there's cards jumping out. There's more time for you if you'd like to get in there. Sure. Miss V said, what's the message for me for May 2023? What do I need to hear? This is the card that jumped out for starters, so I'll just put that off to the side for a moment. That is the Page of Pentacles. So it can be a message about money, resources, finances, kind of getting that stuff in order. You guys know how it goes. If a card jumps out, you got to read it. So it looks like that's what this is going to be pertaining to. And this is the order that I pulled the cards. Oh, there's that Lover's card again. There's 2 of them. I told you guys. Okay, so the Lovers, the Page of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles. There's a little of like, do I hold on to this or do I let this go? Maybe you're focusing on not making maybe impulse spending and impulse buying. I feel like you're kind of asking yourself like, how much do I value this? You know, do I really need this thing? Am I really spending money on this thing? The Lover's card can talk about options, choices, and decisions. It can also talk about where we're feeling a lot of push emotionally to have, possess, or choose something. The Page of Cups can be about emotional impulses. It can also be about relationships. If this is not financial, then it's going to be more about you being like, hey, made a connection. There's a connection that I made to somebody. It's new. I don't know if I can trust it yet. I'm not too sure. So you can take it either way. In regards to relationships or finances, really the key word here is caution, right? Not for me saying, oh, be careful, something's going to happen. It's just exercising caution. Seven of Pentacles coming up is saying like, do I really need to be spending money on this? Do I really need to be giving my heart away? Really feeling out a situation before you decide that you're going to let your guard down, or before you're going to jump in and be all in with an investment or a purchase. I think it's interesting that there's two pages coming up. I think with the Page of Cups, which can be more about emotions and potential relationships, and then the Page of Pentacles coming up, it could be about you reevaluating your relationship to money, and saying to yourself, you know, like I'm learning the difference between what I want and what I need. And that can be in relationships, that can be with material objects, that can be you realizing that you're like, hey, my money is going to go so much further if I'm not impulse spending. Maybe you're finding that it's more important right now to be focusing on your financial wealth and growth and what's going on with your professional life than getting all caught up in a relationship, right? So temptation is always there. When you see the Lover's card, it does kind of signify that you are exercising a sense of being like, do I want this or do I want that? And you're seeing a multitude of different options, different choices. But what you're really trying to get in order is how you feel and how you can create more security for yourself. Because the Seven of Pentacles is literally kind of assessing your garden and going like, okay, did I grow enough of this? Did I grow enough of that? How's that doing? How's this doing? And maybe checking in with yourself more and being like, oh, I'm realizing how much more calmer I am emotionally when I feel like I have my finances in order, when I feel like work is solid, when I feel like I'm making better financial decisions. You don't feel so rattled, and you're feeling like you have a little bit more control, and you're learning a lot more also about having control over your resources. Definitely money decision about business. So to be honest with you, this is a good thing that you have options or choices, or that you're thinking about making decisions. If it's about making an investment or buying something or something like that, to me, these cards scream being more conservative, right? It's not like holding on to things like the Four of Pentacles and not letting go, but it's certainly not a free-for-all where you're just kind of filling everybody else's cup. Seven of Pentacles says you may give it several weeks that you think about something, or you will give something several weeks that you're going to kind of implement something new financially and see if that actually makes a difference. But what I love is that you're learning a lot more about your financial and your business health, and how to create more security for yourself and feeling like you have more control. So whatever you're doing differently, whatever new options or choices that you're learning about, it's really good for you, because pages indicate where you're kind of getting your feet wet and you're learning how to evolve into a knight or a queen or a king. So it's the very beginning process. Seven of Pentacles can also talk about saving. So there can be a sense of being like, I'm saving for a rainy day. I'm taking some of my funds, I'm investing it in, a stock, and I'm watching that go up, and then I'm putting it off to the side. So investing for a rainy day fund, investing for your future. Maybe you're looking at, where you want to be 5 years down the road, and you're coming up with a number that you want to be setting aside every paycheck or every month. I think that this is really positive, and I'm really more so happy about the fact that you're realizing you have options and you have choices, and that there is going to be more emotional harmony because you feel grounded and secure. Okay? Hopefully that's helpful for you, Miss V. It looks good. So we are going to close the readings. We'll do it at the quarter till in another minute. I've got Annette. You're welcome. Thank you, Plethora. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. You guys want to hit that like button? That's super helpful. Okay, so we've got Annette says 3-card tarot spread. So you have 3 separate questions. Will I win any money from the contest I entered? Early May drawing. 2, will my daughter find her meteorology job soon? 3, can I afford to pay down my debt? All right, let's take them on one by one. Who is this? Oh, thank you. Everything I said in your astrology reading came through. Well, I appreciate your feedback. I love to hear those things. All right, so let's check this out for Annette. Annette says, will I win any money from the contest that I entered? It will be an early May drawing. Oof. I get the Judgment card with the Wheel of Fortune as your confirmation. I'm wondering, like, is there going to be separate tiers? I know that's weird, but I kind of feel like Judgment is like, oh, you're going to get the news and then you're going to find out that there's like a first, second, or third place type of situation, or that there's multiple people who may win things or what have you. Wheel of Fortune being the confirmation for Judgment is a pretty clear indication that there's going to be some kind of good news or something that you're going to be gaining. But the Judgment card can basically be saying, like, you know, you're going to find out you win this and that's it. You may not win the whole thing. You might win like a fraction of something. You might win a little prize. Tears. Okay, so there's going to be something it looks like you're going to win. The Wheel of Fortune would have been like the take all kind of card. But the Judgment card is saying that you are going to get something, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be like the whole enchilada. Your second question was, will my daughter find her meteorology job soon? Can you tell her to come to Texas? Because literally every time I check the weather here, it says it's like a 50% chance that it could rain every day. Every day. Tell her to come here. We need meteorologists here. Let's take a look. So will her daughter be getting a meteorology job soon? Interesting. You're 2 out of 3 so far major, so there's some big things happening here. So the Chariot card, right? This is a card that comes up that's saying something will arrive quickly. Something will arrive quickly, and she may have to do it on the road. She may have to relocate. There may be a sense of her going like, oh, there's this amazing job, but it's going to be in Kansas or like somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And something that comes very quickly, very rapidly. So she's like, yeah, I need to start like next week, you know. The Chariot card does make me feel that it's a bit chaotic. So it can be like this feeling of after going through a period of not having a job or struggling to find a job, she finds one, and then like the adapting period is like very, very swift, and she's kind of like frazzled because she's like in boxes and trying to work and all that stuff. But the Chariot card also does talk about like having a plan and maybe support that comes from family and getting from point A to point B. The other thing that I would say is that this can talk about something that is involving travel. So to be specific, right? This could be like she may not necessarily be a meteorologist that's always going to be on like the 6 o'clock news. She might be the person out there with the raincoat and the umbrellas like going all over the place, and she's on location doing some of that stuff. So I don't know if that interests her, but it looks like she may be more interested in that. Maybe where the excitement is at. She may be going to a place where there is going to be more extreme weather, or a need to be talking about weather and how it's actually impacting travel. So I wonder if it's going to be like a location that might be like a travel, you know, based city where they've got a lot of people coming in and out of that area, and she's needing to kind of be on the scene. So let's see if you get another major. You feel lucky? Can I afford to pay down my debt and redecorate my house this spring and summer? Storm chasing, cool. Let's take a look. So will you be able to pay this debt down and redecorate your house? What is your budget, Annette? The Fool card. That's amazing. You definitely should be playing the lottery. So first of all, major arcana cards, right? To those of you guys who are like, what's going on? There's only 22 of them in the whole deck. So when you're pulling those consistently in a spread, it generally means like there's a lot of change coming, a lot of big things. This is a card that deals with Uranus, by the way. All right. So the Fool card is kind of like, I'll try anything, I'll try anything, anything goes, right? So it's telling me that you're being more creative when it comes to paying off your debt. It might mean that you're like, hey, I really want to redecorate the house. Maybe I can't afford to buy brand new everything. So I'm going to learn how to like paint some walls myself or put up wallpaper, or I'm going to learn some DIY projects, or I'm going to buy, you know, a piece of furniture or a dresser and refinish everything and like make it look like this like $500 West Elm piece. Something like that could be coming up, or you're feeling more adventurous. It may also mean or indicate that you're like, I'm willing to try anything to drum up more money so that way I can do what I want to do. And you're really optimistic about this. So sometimes this card comes up. Please go and get a scratcher for me. Like this is just, now the tarot is just being sassy. It may indicate that you're willing or thinking like, okay, I'm going to start a side business or a hustle or something that can bring or generate more income. So I have the freedom, because the Fool card is the freedom, to be able to do what I want to do. It may also indicate that the way that you decorate the home is going to be a little bit more kind of like pops of color and a lot of character and a lot of creativity and art, and really putting your kind of your twist on the entire design of the home. The Hierophant coming up makes me feel like there is a sense of you being like, yeah, but I'd really like to like maybe pay somebody to come in and do it professionally, or like pay a designer to come in and design the space, and that you really want it to have a certain look, or that you really want it to come together in a specific way. And I would encourage you, with the Fool card and the Hierophant being the confirmation card, I'm not saying you can't do these things. You can. It looks like it's going to be possible for you to completely, you know, start over and have a redo of the home. But the Hierophant is saying like it might be something that you learn, or you might actually go and start something so you feel like you have the financial wherewithal to be able to do it the way that you want to do it. Or you might consult with somebody and say, well, what would you recommend? And then you try to figure out realistically what you could do on your own without having to bring in people to do remodeling or painting, or, you know, bringing people in with brand new furniture. Try to find a new way to be able to rework this space. But I mean, the Fool card would be a yes, but it's also taking chances, right? So I notice you're telling me that you're, you know, entering into, you know, some kind of contest where you're trying to win like prizes and houses and cars or whatever. I mean, so that's one way that energy would kind of express itself. But I think it might be a good idea with the Fool card to go and start following people who are going to kind of have the style or the aesthetic that you like, that maybe teaching people or showing people how to bring things together in a very polished way without having to like pay somebody else to do it, if that makes sense. Good luck. Hopefully that's helpful. Fun reading. I hope your daughter gets that job. It looks like she will. I wonder where she will go. Let us know. Okay, so readings are now closed. Let me see. Who do we have here? So we're going to have Alana, Marsha, and Matt. What's up, Alana? Looking for guidance around my career. I'm supposed to find out about a bonus on Monday, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get one. I'm beyond frustrated with the way things are going. This new leader keeps spinning me and everyone else in circles. I want to leave, but I work in tech, and it's dicey. Any guidance would be appreciated. I got you. Take a look. Well, my dear, there's that Lovers cards again. Can you guys guess what card is sponsoring this this episode of Beyond the Veil? It's like Sesame Street. It's brought to you by the Lovers card. So, you know, the Lovers, the Magician, the Two of Pentacles.
I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't like the dangling of the carrot, because that's definitely what's going on here. The Lover's card does talk about, well, we could do this for you if you do that, and this is our plans if you do this, and there's a lot of like things that are being put out there that look really good, but the question is there going to be follow-up? Because once again, with this card, there's always some sense of temptation. If you think about the original Rider-Waite deck, you see like, you know, Adam and Eve, and they're standing in the garden, and you see like, you know, everything that's happening revolving around, you know, the judgment of them because Eve ate the apple. So it talks about whether or not you're going to take the forbidden fruit, right? So it can suggest everything comes at a cost. So be mindful of how much you're willing to sacrifice for this cost. Now, the Magician card coming up in the center can talk about manifestation, focusing on really, you know, setting yourself up to get very clear about what you're asking the universe to give you and bringing more abundance in and being able to make magic happen. It's a positive card. But when these two cards come together, for me, if it's a relationship, I'd be like, something's not right here. You're not getting the full story. There could be another person. If this is a business situation or a professional situation, I'd be like, yeah, somebody's making it sound really good, and it may be a little too good to be true. And the Magician card can be somebody who's coming in that's trying to change things, trying to move staff around, trying to, you know, like fix, you know, budgets and things that are broken, or trying to make magic happen with very little. And possibly also like telling people what they want to hear. Because sometimes the Magician can have like that kind of like used car salesman type of vibe. And then the Two of Pentacles is coming up, which is, will they do it? Will they won't? Are you going to do this or are you not? So it's saying that's going to continue. Likely you're going to see this continue into about June, July. The confirmation card that I get is the Seven of Wands, which means like you've basically committed to being like, okay, I'm being told that this is going to come. They may say to you, we can't give you this, but we can give you that, right? And it's like a little bit of like meeting in the middle. And being like, well, it's based off of our situation, and also like, here's your review. And to me, it seems like it can feel like the goalposts keep moving, right? Because the Two of Pentacles is right when you're getting to where you think you're going to go, something else kind of comes through, and then they're just like upping it a little bit more. So they're going to give you something to dangle the carrot to tell you, okay, but if you stay on for another 6 months, or if you continue to do this, or when we get to our next reevaluation, you know, this is what we're promising you. And I would say be very careful about that. The Seven of Wands being your confirmation card, if you can see this card, it's basically showing a guy who's standing his ground, defending himself. So it can be saying be careful about being defensive in the midst of meetings and reviews and things that you may be having. It can also suggest, you know, also stand up for yourself. That if they tell you they're going to do something and they're not doing it, it's about knowing when to be like, hey, this is what we agreed to. Why did this not happen? And also knowing when to walk, right? If you potentially have to walk from this dynamic and go, no, this is not, I'm not going to keep doing this. Sometimes I would recommend with a card like that to also be mindful that there can be a work dynamic that's being created where people know that there may be people in the chopping block. So you're going into either an office space or a communal workspace where you're going to start having people that are going to be very, what's the word? They can be combative, they can be competitive, right? There's a competitiveness to this as well. So they may be doing this intentionally because they want to trim the fat in some areas and they want to see who's going to, you know, outperform other people. And then based off of people's performances and everybody knows that there's something that's going to change or that people may have to leave, you're going to see some people getting kind of agitated. So do not get sucked into that dynamic. That's my advice, because still with the Magician card, it's saying this is being created because maybe they've overpromised, right? And they've delivered. And now that they're realizing that they can't fulfill some of the promises that they made, they're kind of backpedaling and going like, okay, we need to make a change in something with the business, with the staff, with the budget. I intuitively feel also that with the Seven of Wands, you're really going to be watching this situation about over the next 7 weeks or so, because the cards do talk about, you know, getting to about the end of Gemini season. So June, July, that's the time that you're really going to be watching and deciding whether or not you're going to walk. Will you get something? It looks like you will. Is there going to be a catch? I do think so. And be careful with that, because it might be just to see how much more work you're willing to put in. But but there's no guarantee that they're going to fulfill some of the promises that they've been making, right? Good luck. We've got Marsha. Annette says, I play the lottery all the time and tons of items in my Amazon account and tons of things that I love it. Go and create that vision board, girl. All right, so Marsha says, I spoke to my first husband in true love on Valentine's Day. Deep in my heart, I always believed we would reunite someday. What do the cards say? Oh, I love that. Your first husband is for love. The second one's for marriage. Or not marriage, for money, right, Marsha? First one's for love, second one's for money. I'm a little nervous about the upcoming eclipse in my career sector, but I left the toxic bullshit a year ago, went on a sabbatical, so what's the eclipse have in store for me? Let's take a look. Eclipses in the 10th house really are just, I think, especially with the South Node being involved, it's a lot of like, not my circus, not my monkeys. So it's a good thing that you're not working. If you've already taken your sabbatical, it can be about you going, okay, this phase is now complete. Now I'm ready to get back out there. It's the squares and all the other stuff that's happening with the nodes and with Pluto and the oppositions to Uranus. I mean, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot changing if you're a fixed rising sign. If you didn't already watch my horoscopes, check them out. I talk a lot about this. Okay. I swear to God, if I get this card one more time, I'm going to lose my shit. We have the Lover's card yet again. So we have the King of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Lover's card. Obviously, this is not a lot of cards that are about work stuff. It's very specific to your question. So reuniting with the first husband, like what did the card say? King of Cups, somebody who obviously has finally either started coming to terms with how to better express themselves. It can be about somebody who took time to really realize maybe what you guys had, that there was love there. Maybe there is a sense of him being more open. I mean, the fact that it's starting with the King of Cups is saying that this is somebody who may be more willing to share with you how they're feeling. And also owning their side of it and being like, yeah, I could have done X, Y, and Z better. Or, I should have told you this. And now that I have the opportunity, I'm going to be more open. I love that the King of Cups is really about wearing your heart on your sleeve. I love that it's about going through a process of also realizing that strength doesn't have to be physical. It can be emotional. I love that it's coming up with the Knight of Cups because the real connection of, can I see you again? Can we get together? Where are you? When can we reconnect? When can we talk? Can we go to dinner? Like any of those things definitely comes up more with the Knight of Cups because it's the act of reconnecting, going out, or spending time talking to each other more often. So the fact that you have both of these coming up is saying it's not just about this emotional maturity. It's going, okay, I've gone through this. Now I want to act on this. It can be an invitation. So if he lives in another place, it can be like, well, if you're ever, coming through here, give me a call. We can get together. The connection card. I mean, you guys know, you've seen my content probably before. I'm not one to be like, oh, soulmate readings and twin flames, because I feel like we have a million soulmates in any given lifetime. But I do feel like, connections that are very strong, that can't be broken. Like that does kind of come through the Lover's card of being like, okay, there's that person that I had that connection to, and like, it's not ever really going to go away. It does also talk about temptation. Temptation is the word of the evening. The Lover's card coming up, I think, is so appropriate right now, getting, looking at like Venus moving through Gemini, right? The Lovers. So it can talk about duality and options and choices. We're seeing Venus come into a square with Neptune. So there can be this sense of where we're hiding things or secretive about things or not completely forthcoming about things because we haven't made up our mind yet. These are mutable squares. And the Lover's card can talk about two options, two choices, two potential people. Hi, there's the devil. Look at that little butt cheek on the internet there. I love this deck. The devil card is basically saying, it's like, are you gonna take a bite of the apple? Are you willing to potentially, see what there could be? I mean, literally the Lovers card and the Devil talks about, like, is it even a good idea for us to physically be around each other, because what could happen given the state of how we both feel and knowing that there is such a strong emotional connection there, right? The Devil card can also talk about breaking patterns and breaking through things, and the fact that sometimes the Lovers card offers you something to get you out of a sticky situation. So, I mean, I've heard everything, like nothing surprises me anymore. Like some of the stuff I've heard is just like mind-boggling. But I've seen this reoccurring pattern happen. I've seen it with so many of my clients that so many times people want to wait until another person shows up to get to the next relationship, or so many times people want another person to show up to get over the previous relationship that they're still stuck on. They want that stepping stone, right? They want somebody or something to hold their hand so that way they can take the next step forward. In situations like this, in readings where I've pulled the Lovers card and the Devil card, to me, I get the impression that I'm like, look, this person has showed up because you have been manifesting potentially a way out. So whether it's a way out of your relationship or a way out of a job, and you hate your job, but you get another job offer, but there's some like stickiness to it. These things come up and they tempt you because they're trying to get you to really focus on what it is that you do want, what it is that you love. So if you're craving romance, if you're craving intimacy, if you're craving physical connection, you're sending out those psychic SOS calls into the ethers, and somebody's going to pick up on that, and they're going to go, hey, I heard your call. I'm also, stuck out at sea. How can we help each other? Be careful with the Devil card, because it says that there can be a sense of possibly dealing with a situation where you've got somebody who's literally mirroring you, and you guys can get stuck in the sense of neither party really knows how to move out of this pre-existing marriage or relationship to physically come together, right? I do feel like this is going to be probably something that's going to play out for a little while, with the cards talking about June really through like more or less the end of the year. So it can be like a 6-month period of being like, look, we need to keep a safe distance. We can talk, but if it ends up becoming a reoccurring thing, somebody's probably going to talk to the other person and be like, do we want to acknowledge the elephant in the room? And it's that we're talking more often, and obviously there's still something there, but we're with other people. So what are we going to do about it? Because these can be very physical cards. These are emotional cards. So, you can do the emotional stuff, but it is saying be very careful around the physical stuff, because if the physical stuff is what you lead with, and then you end up going your separate ways, you're going to realize that you're going back to your individual relationships, your individual marriages, and it's like you're going back to reality and you're not breaking out of that. So really where the emotional growth, I think, is potentially going to be in this dynamic is having those conversations even before you guys are physically around each other. So that way you could potentially avoid the pitfalls of even going through the process of seeing him, reconnecting, having all the drama. It's like, really think about that before you do that, because you don't want to be in a situation that's going to propel you into some kind of, drama. And if you're telling me that the eclipse is going to be in your career house, then you know that the Venus retrograde is going to be in your 7th house. So July, August, September, like a Venus retrograde in your 7th, and it is the ruler of your whole sign 4th. That is when people from the past come back and they start saying things to you like, well, are you happy? Would you move? And that's going to be like a star-studded event, because we're going to see Venus retrograde, and it's going to square both Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. So a lot of it's going to be about, for you, dealing with the past. Do I go back to the past? Where are they living? Where am I living? How do I, allow myself to have some kind of freedom, or finally break free from the life that I've been living, or where I've physically been living? So you may want to see what plays out with that period first. Just an idea. But know that things can get very sticky if there's a physical connection. Keep us updated. I would love to hear more about that. Okay, so I've got Mr. Matt Powers. And then I've got Vani, Lori, Salamar. What's up, Matt? 2 questions today. Can I expect my testicular exam to go well on Monday? I haven't gone in a few years, and I'm feeling a lump. I'm not sure if I had before. I'm probably just being paranoid, and it's nothing serious, but I wanted to check in. Also, I know it's tarot and not really medical advice. Thank you. So you saved me from my spiel that this is all for entertainment purposes. And I am not an attorney or give legal or health or financial advice, but I do my best. But then your second question is what does Raven think or feel about me? Okay, cool. Let's take a look. So let's see what the deal is with your health stuff. Anything you need to be aware of. You have that exam on Monday. You're going to have an eclipse that's probably going to be somewhere around your 8th house. So how appropriate that you have an exam that's going to be relating to Scorpio things. Let's take a look. And then we will take a look at Raven. In this order, is Raven doing your exam? Sorry, I had to ask. Honestly, these are positive cards. So what's interesting is that, doctors, specialists, that would be like the Hierophant, right? So the Hierophant's coming up. I don't know if you have a male or a female doctor. Queen of Cups is coming up, so it's making me wonder if this is just about having that emotional security and like knowing that everything is okay. But the Hierophant is like the person you go to. So they look into everything, they look at your test, they do the exam, and they're like, yes, I can say definitively things are or are not okay. The fact that the Hierophant's coming up is telling me also that you're being really diligent about your health, that you're not overlooking things. If you're concerned about something, you're going to the right people, you're seeing the right doctors, the right specialists, like you're taking it seriously and you're on top of it. The Queen of Cups coming up is also, I think, talking about you feeling like, okay, there is a sense of emotional, ease. The Queen is about managing something. Emotionally is what you hold space for. It's what you're kind of taking care of and nurturing. It can be that there is like a female doctor. It can be also that, there's a lot of support that you get from female relatives, female friends. It can be that there's a water sign that comes in also that talks to you about this and like helps ease your mind. It can be nurses also, because these can be people who are kind of supporting what may potentially be the doctor. Queen of Cups, obviously Scorpio, Pisces, or a Cancer type of energy that can come in. But generally in the centered position, this is saying, feeling good and intuitively knowing like everything is okay. And then the Three of Cups is reason to celebrate. So it basically says that there's some like celebratory thing going on, happiness, feeling fulfilled, not worrying about anything. It's a very carefree card. So when this card comes up, generally it can be like everything's fine, no need to worry, you can enjoy yourself, have a good time. I also feel like there may be some discussion during this exam or talking about this where they may talk to you about like sexual health related things. Nothing negative, but just kind of, talking to you about your sexual health and like your partners and anything like that. And they may talk to you about like having a regular partner and somebody who can kind of tell you whether or not something feels off or different. So if a relationship ends up developing, this might be about you opening up to another person and being like, hey, I've had this health scare. I'm like been really worried about it. And if you end up developing a regular physical relationship with them, if something were to ever change, they would be like, hey, something is off. So this is a very positive spread. There's nothing coming up that's making me feel like there's any reason for concern. Obviously, still follow up with your doctor, see what they say. And I wonder if your doctor is a man or a woman. I would assume it's a man, but I'm not going to assume. And then let's see what Raven thinks about you. In this order: Ace of Swords, King of Cups, Knight of Swords. That's a confirmation card. 7 of Pentacles. That's not a bad card. Okay, so Ace of Swords, King of Cups. Are you feeling the itch to be like, hey, like, what are we doing here? What do you think? What are you feeling? Ace of Swords can be about having a conversation, being direct, putting it all out there, telling somebody what's on your mind. Maybe not spilling your heart to them, but telling them what's on your mind, or just focusing on communicating and getting to know the other person. But it can be an indication that there is going to be like a defining conversation coming. Generally, the Ace of Swords is roughly about a month or so. This can also be talking about like getting to a point where you're wondering if it's going to be something or if it's going to get cut short. I don't think that's going to be the case. I feel like the King of Cups coming up might be talking more about you, where there is this awareness that's coming through where you're like, I kind of feel like maybe I'm starting to kind of grow feelings for this person. I think there might be an interest there. You know, do I tell her how I feel? Do I not? I would say just slow down. Take your time, because, you know, we've got two elements of air, two swords that are kind of sandwiching the King of Cups. So there can be this feeling of, do I say this? Do I not say this? Am I saying too much? Am I saying too little? Should I be listening more? Should I not be reaching out? Should I be reaching out more? Like, there is a sense of overthinking a lot of the communication stuff right now. And I would say with the Knight of Swords coming up as the third card, it's about slowing down and not feeling like you have to have these conversations yet. It also might be that you're kind of going through this and being like, does she like me, or is she just being nice to me? Like, what, am I missing something here? I definitely think that you want to pay attention to her communication patterns, because if she's, you know, calling you or texting you or making a point to say hi to you at work, or if there's somebody who's, you know, striking up a conversation with you, likely they're doing that because there is some kind of interest. And maybe you're looking at this going like, okay, is she able to read my body language? Can she tell that I'm interested or not interested? You know, should I be more flirty with her? I think the King of Cups is somebody who can just open up and be more vulnerable in general. So it doesn't mean that you have to be like word vomiting everywhere and telling her how you feel if you have a crush on her. But it's about being more transparent. And once again, Seven of Pentacles being the confirmation card of saying, slow down, take your time. You're kind of in the process of like potentially getting to know somebody before it could develop into something that could be more of an emotional connection. Knight of Swords might be like a wingman. I know that sounds weird, but that can be somebody who can be like a go-between, or somebody who you talk to about her, who knows her, or who knows both of you, or somebody who can, you know, help you get in the door to being like, hey, we should all go out and have dinner, or, you know, we should all go to this party together or catch a movie. Somebody who can really kind of be there to help with the communication and kind of guide the direction of you guys actually going and doing something together. If not, then I would say find somebody who's going to fill this position, who can help you through this whole process, because I do think that it's going to help you not feel so like uncomfortable and like weird, because the King of Cups can be like, I don't know, what do I do? And this person can be a buffer who helps you with this whole process of like, you know, just going through the process of getting to know somebody and kind of like dating them. And Seven of Pentacles is like in the beginning to know each other stage. No need to rush through anything. Don't overthink anything. Like she's not making any calculated moves. It's more just about kind of feeling this out. And I feel like this person is very intelligent with all of these swords coming up. So there can be a sense of somebody talking to you a lot and asking you questions, and you're like, okay, do I respond? Do I not respond? Like, did I say that the right way? Like, there can be some sense of being intimidated a little bit. Don't be intimidated. Look for your wingman. That'll help you with the process. And I do feel like there is something potentially that's starting that could actually be a really good connection. Just allow yourself to be more comfortable with communicating. And if you feel like you're being too bland, open up a little bit and talk more about things that might be more personal, because it can be a little bit more like disarming in terms of your interaction. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful. What's up, Rachel? We called it a night for the sign-ups, but we'll be back next week. I've got Vanny and then Lori and Salamar. Let's see here. Vanny says, just one card pull for now. My name is London, but I know you added to that. Anyway. This is my first time. My question is regarding a connection I've been rather on the fence about. I'm looking to pursue, or wondering if I should just leave alone in favor of working on a few financial pursuits. It's difficult because these pursuits is a collab with this person. Okay. Adding on, also want to include, I'm an Aries with a Libra ascendant, and the connection I'm interested in is a Taurus with a Leo ascendant. So you guys' ascendants are good. It's that you're a Libra ascendant and they've got their sun in your 8th house. And Jupiter's going through your 7th house as a Libra ascendant. So working and communicating with somebody and having an interest definitely makes sense. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. So this is for you, London. So should you connect more with this person or focus on your financial pursuits? Because one of the pursuits is with this Taurus. Oh, it's in your 7th. Okay, yeah, because, well, whole sign 8th, but if it's in your 7th, that's better. Okay, so it was in this order. Page of Wands, 9 of Cups, 4 of Swords, Ace of Swords. Okay, just know that in theory, based off your transits, the astrology is kind of in your favor. Solar eclipse in your 7th, Jupiter going through your 7th, right? Maybe it's the retrograde that's going through Taurus, so you're kind of like rethinking it. Page of Wands, 9 of Cups, 4 of Swords. So Page of Wands is like working together, like definitely working together, collaborating, like doing some of this like creative stuff that could bring in money is wonderful. Because I do feel like it's going to get you where you want to go. Like it is possible to have both, right? It's not, okay, do I just put my blinders on and just, you know, work with him on this project or with them on this project and then, you know, kind of move on to the next thing. I don't think it's that cut and dry. The Page of Wands really wants you to be participating in the act of being present and having playtime. It's not, oh, is it going to be a thing? Am I wasting my time? Like whatever. One thing you're going to learn with Jupiter's ingress into Taurus and also with the eclipses that are still going to be finishing up this fall in Taurus, Uranus is in Taurus. When Jupiter goes there, it's really highlighting your 8th house. That's like learning how to talk more about money and resources and intimacy and merging together and like actually business and building something together could bring you guys closer, right? And I think that the 9 of Cups in the center is really saying like you're getting your wish, right? And I always tell people this, especially Libra risings. I've been telling a lot of Libra risings that what you're going to find this year is that you're getting what you need, not necessarily what you thought you wanted, right? And it doesn't mean that you don't potentially like or you're not attracted to this person. It's just you're going to see aspects of their personality that are complementary because Aries is shadow. So as planets move through your 7th house, you're seeing you're getting exactly what you wanted, but it's not necessarily what you thought you were actually going to want or need, if that makes sense. Then we have the 4 of Swords. So it's saying like, focus on participating on the collaboration right now. Don't worry about the rest. The 4 of Swords can be a period of being like, we're going to work together. We'll do our thing. And then maybe, you know, that period kind of comes to an end and we stay connected. And then you see whether or not there is going to be a follow-up, because I actually really like that for this connection. If you've got like other clients or other projects or other things that you're doing and you work with him for a period of time and then you guys finish what you're doing and you're like, okay, well, you know, can we still stay in touch? Can we stay connected or can we keep checking in? Likely what you're going to see is that that communication, that connection will go beyond just the working relationship, right? Ace of Swords was your confirmation. So it's saying do the work, let it ride. Don't feel like you need to be super overly focused on it developing into a relationship, and the communication and the talking and the reaching out to each other should still continue to keep happening. But at least you know that it's been built off of this natural working relationship where you guys have really gotten to see how you guys are with money and how you guys are professionally and how you guys are creatively. And it's creating that basis, like that base for what can be a relationship moving forward. And then you guys should be able to go deeper. The cincher for me would be the 9 of Cups. It's basically saying you can get both, but it's about showing up and then kind of pulling back a little bit. Not playing games, but being like, okay, cool, the work portion is done. Do we still engage with each other? Is there still an interest there? And I feel like the 4 of Swords can be a card that comes up that's saying like, you don't have to actively worry about it. You're not going to have to worry that this person is just going to check out or that they're going to go away or that they're not going to call you back or that there isn't going to be an interest. You have to just trust that because you've become so used to having communication and back and forth, not just because of the project, because likely there's going to be checking in with each other. Likely there's going to be meetings and talking and learning about each other's like lives outside of working together. And you may become more kind of involved in that. You know, Jupiter also going through your 7th house, I think that you're going to have a relationship that's going to be based a lot more on either traveling together, or it's going to be about having meetings and having like FaceTime calls and Zoom calls and texting and phone calls. So it'll be one of those two. So if it is only like that in the beginning, don't freak out and think that it's like not a thing. I think it's great, and it's going to teach you a lot about communication, and it's also going to teach you that this is probably somebody who's going to be very reliable, so there's no need to worry. Will the time come for you guys to have a conversation? Probably, but you know, the Ace of Swords is a card that generally comes up around the fall. So I do feel like it can be as you're getting into, you know, August, September-ish, October-ish. That's when there's going to be more focus on, so what are we doing here? One thing that plays into your favor is that eclipses are going to start happening now in Libra. So when we get into like October, we're going to have an eclipse that's going to be somewhere very close to your ascendant, actually. And Mars will also be there as well. So I've seen like this kind of like weird slingshot effect, where there's a lot of working together and collaboration and like really, you know, other people showing up for you this spring right now. And then in the fall, when Mars and the Sun and the eclipses come into Libra, it's going to incentivize you to go, okay, I'm going to him, or I'm reaching out to them, or I'm telling them, this is what I want. Let's do this together. So that's what you'll learn. You know, the eclipses in your 1st and the 7th. There's times to do your things. There's time to do other people's things. But so much more with the North Node and Jupiter going into your 7th is other people. And North Node in Aries means that you have to give them the freedom to take the initiative and be the person who's going to, you know, initiate things, and then you follow. So I think it's a really great connection, and I think that what you may find is that it just naturally kind of continues, but maybe you have more serious conversations about the future of the relationship in the fall, you know? But this is great. I love this together because I feel like you guys can actually complement each other very well. And if you're streaming together, that's really cool. Jupiter is your 7th house lord, whole sign. So working on videos, streaming, talking about things, doing interviews, you know, travel, all that stuff is like really, really good for some of your transits. I'm a Libra rising, and my husband does all the production. He edits all my videos. He's doing all this stuff right now, so it works really well. Good luck. Let me know what happens. I've got Lori and then Salamar and Sarah. What's up, Lori? How are you doing? It's nice to see you. So Lori is a Sag Sun, Leo Moon, Leo Rising. How are those Pluto transits treating you? Oh boy. And a retrograde in your 10th right now. So I bet life is kind of loud. Let's take a look. Oof, again? More devil? It was like that. There we go. Okay. So we've got 7 of Pentacles, the Star card, and the Devil. So a couple things. For starters, the Devil can be talking about work. The Devil can also be talking about Saturn. We've got the Star card and the 7 of Pentacles. So 7 of Pentacles, to me, feels like taking stock in things right now. Being like, where is my money going? Where is my career going? What is most important to me? What is most valuable to me? What have I been saving? What am I investing into? Okay. In the previous position, it's kind of talking about the fact that maybe you've been really focusing on security, or you've been planning for the future, or you've been cautious and not really taking a lot of risks. And now maybe you're reevaluating things. Then we got the Star card, which can be connected to Aquarius. It can be connected to your 7th house of relationships. It can also be about community, networks, friends in general. So if this is a feeling of being like, I'm going through it, where are my people? Where are my friends when I need them? Or where is healing? Is it on the way? Is it going to help me through this process? This is a card that's about peace and tranquility. So when this comes up, generally this is the next card after the Tower. So if things have been turbulent, if things have felt uncomfortable, if you've been going through it, this is basically saying like healing is on the way. Being a Leo rising right now, okay, and with all the fixed signs, you know, you have an eclipse that's coming very soon around the 5th, and that's going to be in your 4th house, which is home, family, past. It can create this feeling of like emotional purging, cleaning out the house, some kind of conflict with a friend, some kind of conflict, you know, with a family member, something that could be going on at home that can be private, or something back at home. And what's going to happen is it's going to ricochet all over your chart. It's going to challenge your relationships, your career, and also your ascendant. I'm wondering if this is like you going, I'm struggling with the idea of making some changes, either financially or with your career, but also being like, I need a break, or I need some peace, or I need some time, or I just need to see my friends. Like there's something like that that's kind of coming through. Then the final card that you get is the Devil card. So once again, feeling stuck, feeling bound, not knowing how to break out of a cycle, not knowing how to break out of a pattern, combined with the confirmation card of the King of Pentacles. So this can be talking about your relationship that you're having to another person. It can be a boss. And going back and forth and weighing your options and questioning whether or not you want to stay in a certain position if you're getting along with upper management. It can be that there is a sense of you going back and forth and questioning, okay, like, am I making the right decisions? Am I investing my time or my energy in the right places? To feel like I'm actually coming out on top and seeing that I'm making headway with my financial health, or making headway with my career. The Devil with the King of Pentacles can be talking about a Capricorn, or dealing with somebody that's got prominent Capricorn placement, or somebody who feels like an authority figure, or a superior. And, you know, it's about not letting yourself feeling like you're getting stuck either in a professional or a financial situation, and being very cautious with the decisions that you're making right now. Maybe it's you going, well, you know, I've made some choices or some investments, and like now I'm kind of locked into something where I feel like I'm pigeonholed and I can't make a change. Perhaps it's about you weighing the options about making a change at work, but you're having to talk to a partner or somebody else about the financial implications of things, and like whether or not it makes sense for, you know, you to be cutting back and them to be picking up the slack, or vice versa. Regardless of how things feel right now, how intense some of this stuff is, the truth is that the Star card is really your saving grace. And it's basically saying that there may be a friend, or there may be a partner, or there may be somebody who comes in that is like really supportive at this moment and gives you the security that you need. Because these are earth-related signs. So it's like a hug. It's somebody who's like, I've got things financially, don't worry. It's somebody who helps you make a connection to an investment, to a new job, like a physical change. And I would just say, when in doubt, you know, it's about being able to feel like you can fall back on having a community. It's more than one person. So maybe you're feeling also like disconnected, and you're like, okay, well, do I need to be getting better situated socially and like making friends like where I currently am? That can be coming up for you as well. With the Devil and the King of Pentacles being the final two cards, I would start looking at either what physical or financial or professional limitations you're facing right now. And get real with yourself and ask yourself, is it worth the sacrifice, and is it worth the feeling of feeling stuck in this? Because it's about finding your way out of it and trying to come up with a solution, even if that means cutting back on spending, getting rid of something, selling something, moving, so you don't feel like you're going to be in the same situation 6 months down the road. Right? That's basically what's coming up. Hopefully that's helpful. Let me know how it's going, and watch for that eclipse, because that eclipse is going to be pretty wild in your chart. Good luck. I got censored. Was that intentional, or was that a joke? Good luck, Lori. I think somebody was trying to be funny editing the video. I could be wrong. We'll see. We'll put some more butt cheeks on the internet and see if it gets censored. Salamar. Selma the Cancer says, what is most important? What do I need to know right now? Am I on the right path? Good question. Sarah and Jules, you guys are on deck. All right, so Selma wants to know, as a Cancer, is she on the right path? Oof. So there is a sense of, obviously if you're asking me, there is some sense of doubt, okay? There's some sense of doubt, but I say that because the Seven of Swords comes up, followed by the Justice and the Knight of Wands. The good news is where you're at right now, finding that balance, tweaking things, maybe learning to reevaluate relationships and give and take. And I don't mean just romantic, just in general. What you're putting into things and what you're getting out of it, how you're supporting other people, and are you being supported in exchange in a fair manner, I guess I should say. The Seven of Swords coming up is a card about doubt, questioning, wondering if something can be trusted, wondering if you can trust yourself. This is a card also that's like, am I forgetting something? Am I leaving something behind? Like, should I be questioning more? Should I be doing more? The Seven of Swords sometimes for some people comes up also when like there is a sense of being like, is this right for me? Right? Like, am I being honest with myself? So I would say if you've been there, you're in the process of making the changes and kind of, recreating the balance. Sometimes it can talk about, coming from a path where you have had some some reason to not trust people, some untrustworthy partnerships, relationships, some dynamics where maybe you didn't feel supported, or you felt like you were betrayed, or you felt like, somebody kind of did you wrong. Currently, right now, you could be like Justice. You could be the person holding the scales being like, is it safe or is it fair for me to open up to this person? Is it right for me to say no? There's a lot of like reevaluating boundaries with yourself and with other people. There's also a sense of like karmic law coming into effect. And maybe there's the sense of you being like, okay, I'm only going to go in the direction where I feel like the universe is guiding me right now. If a door is going to open, I have to trust that and I have to follow that. There can also be stuff that's going on in regards to relationships. The Justice card can be talking about cause and effect. Okay, so unlike the Judgment card, which is definitive, the Justice card is like the things that are showing up right now are showing up because it's a result of past actions. So if you're seeing that things are kind of going positively, which it looks like it is, it looks like you've been reevaluating or finding ways to rebalance your life to create more time for happiness, joy, travel, creativity, having fun, but also passion, following your passion, the Knight of Wands. It can mean that you're learning to trust yourself, which is kind of cool. It can mean that you're learning to be more present in the moment, that you're learning to really listen to your instincts, to really go where you feel called to go, like literally or figuratively. The Knight of Wands can also talk about creative collaborations. It can talk about exercising creative talents, performing, and anything really that's going to make you feel alive. Now, the confirmation card that I got for you is the Knight of Cups. So it can also mean like following your instincts when it comes to new potential romantic connections. Maybe you've been at a crossroads and you're like, obviously whatever's been working in terms of relationships, professional or romantic, is not working. Now I need to kind of go and rebalance and recenter myself and see what comes up. And so now you're going to be finding that because you're more so in balance, you're going to see other things start kind of blossoming in your life. Specifically, the Wands is going to be about creativity. Okay, so collaborating with others, having fun, expressing yourself, creating projects, creating new gigs, being able to travel. And I feel like giving yourself that freedom is also opening the door and also bringing in more harmonious and better balanced emotional connections to other people. So if you're not looking for a relationship, this is relationships of all kinds. It doesn't necessarily need to be romantic, but I think you're learning that it's okay to move forward and not necessarily keep giving people chances in the past. And I don't know who or what that applies to, but the Seven of Swords and the Justice card is like a lot of like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And that you're kind of closing doors. So you're not allowing yourself to feel like you're delaying the things that you need to be doing because you're holding space for other people, or you're having like this revolving door type of relationship with some individuals. So you're like, I'm not trying to, be the bad guy, but it's like, this isn't in balance for me, so I got to keep it moving. And new things are coming in your way. And it's also a sense of really feeling like open. The Knight of Wands wants to have all the experiences. It wants to try new things. It wants to go new places. So if that means new jobs, new potential relationships, I think you owe it to yourself to explore that, because I think that You're going to find that there's going to be better balanced partnerships that are going to be coming in as a result of this. Okay. Good luck. I hope that's helpful. I've got Sarah and Jules. You are also on standby. Let me make sure there was nobody else in here. And looks like we got Kimberly and Gauze. How do you pronounce your name? Gauzde? G-O-Z-D-E? And then Lisa. Okay. So let's take Jules. Did I skip somebody? No, sorry. Sarah, then Jules, and then Kimberly. All right, Sarah. Sarah says, 8/12/81, Brooklyn, New York. I asked for a promotion. I was told to give a week. Will I get the money that I want? You got it, G. All right, Sarah. Sarah's already ready. Capricorn rising, moon in Capricorn, Mercury sun, Leo, Mercury sun, Capricorn, Mercury. Okay. So your rising is Capricorn, your sun is in Leo. Got it. So you're technically 8th house, whole sign, sun. Let's take a look. Let's see. Is she going to get it? All right, it was in this order, which is hilarious. 5 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, 6 of Cups. 5 of Pentacles is, I don't know if you've been feeling like this, even before this whole dynamic, but 5 of Pentacles is like not feeling appreciated, feeling left out in the cold, not getting the support, not getting the bonuses, feeling overlooked, what have you. I'm wondering like what brought this up? You know, like, were you asking for it? Like, were you being like, hey, can we discuss my position? What happened here? Because obviously there was some kind of action that took place. 9 of Cups and the 6 of Cups are more positive cards. What's interesting is the 6 of Cups is like the reconnection card. So if you asked for your promotion, you were told that you were, to wait a week. It looks like you are going to get something that you want. But it also looks like there is going to be a sense of circling back. So 6 of Cups could mean 6 months, 6 weeks. They may say to you, okay, this is what we'll give you now. We're going to do another reevaluation in 6 months' time. We'll touch base then, and then we can kind of go from there. There will be another round, I guess is what I'm getting at. But the 9 of Cups is getting what you want right now. Okay, so you're going to get what you want to some extent. 9 of Cups is like the green light. Yes, if you asked for a promotion, they said give us a week. Basically, what it looks like is they're going to come back and they're going to go, here, this is what we can give you, And if you want to stay with us or if you want to continue working with us, we're open to discussing, being able to do this down the road. I think it's enough to keep you for now. I feel like definitely the 6-month period is very specific because right around the time that we're getting into the eclipses, I also love hearing that you're a Cap rising, knowing that Jupiter's going in your 5th, knowing that there's eclipses in your 5th still that are going to be coming. That does tell me that if you're focusing on starting your own business, working for yourself, being kind of like an entrepreneur, working on your own, you're going to see growth that's going to be happening regardless. July, August, September, when Venus is going retrograde through your 8th house, because Venus rules your natal 10th house of career, it's possible that renegotiation is happening astrologically, or that somebody comes back and says, hey, we really want you to come back. You did such an excellent job, and we should have given you what you requested. Will you come back? We'll give it to you. So just putting the astrology together with what I'm seeing in the cards, that 6 of Cups is the reconnection. It's like saying, okay, come back around. Let's touch base then. Yes, you're going to get something in the immediate, but I do think that there is going to be room for growth. I also feel like you might be the one reevaluating in 6 months time, is it worth, the small bump that I got? Is it worth, hanging on for another 6 months? Are they going to continue to keep dragging this out? It makes me feel like you're possibly getting pulled in another direction, because the Six of Cups can be about somebody else coming back and saying, hey, who are you working for? What are they paying you? We'll take better care of you. And you may have to weigh your options and be like, well, I told them that I would work with them, but I've got this other, option that's coming down the road. This will come later. So if you want to take what they propose, you can take it and you can work with them if you're working multiple positions. But know that sometime in the fall, you're going to have somebody who's going to circle back around and go, okay, well, now we want you to come and work for us, or now we have the budget to bring you on as an employee, or to, pay you to be here full time. Like, there's going to be, I think, more lucrative offers that will be coming there. And knowing that the retrograde is going to square off with Jupiter and Uranus, it's like, I feel inclined to tell you, the more independent you are, and whether that's going from being like, hey, I'm going from an employee to being a contractor, or I'm going from, working full-time, hourly, to being salary, whatever it is, don't fear being more independent, a little bit more detached. Yeah, it might seem like a lot more work, but I think that you're going to be able to definitely bring in more money, and there isn't going to be a shortage of work, because, the next year you're going to see Jupiter go into your 6th house. So you're going to be quite busy, and you might be still working 2 jobs. But if you decide to open a small business, become an LLC, work as a contractor, I think you're going to really open up the doors to where you have more control over who you're working for, and also bringing in even more streams of income. And watch for somebody else coming back around in the fall, possibly being like, hey, come and work with us. Now we're capable of giving you what you want. Stay in good contact with some of the people that you've been working with, or positions you've applied for. And if there's a position that you really want, but they haven't been ready to bring you on in the fashion that you want, let them know that you want to stay in contact to circle back around, because you're going to get better offers in the fall. Okay? Good luck. Good luck. You're going to get something. We've got Jules, and then Kimberly. All right, Jules said, just a general reading. I'm a Capricorn sun and Scorpio moon and rising. Thank you. Let's take a look at what card comes up for you, Jules. And she got an upgrade. Got it. What does the universe need me to know? Sun in Capricorn, moon and rising in Scorpio. All right, let's take a look. I love these cards for you, Jules, because I know that your astro is pretty wild in the next month or so. I guess separate from the tarot, just knowing that you're a Scorpio, I think you said Scorpio rising, Scorpio moon. That eclipse is one you want to watch for around the 5th. Just be ready for it. Queen of Swords, 2 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles. For me, this is very getting extremely clear about what it is you want and need in relation to other people. Okay? This can be emotionally, this can be financially. It's just becoming very clear. Queen of Swords is coming up, so this can be about you channeling that and learning how to communicate and tell people what does and doesn't work. I'm going to be honest, for all the Scorpio risings who are listening, especially if you have any placements between 13 and let's say maybe 17 degrees, that eclipse is going to be right on your ascendant. Okay, so it's an intense eclipse. It does affect the body. It's a south node eclipse. It's the last one. So I'm wondering, being that it's going to square by sign your Venus, it's about getting very clear about your values. The money that you need, the relationships that you need, the dynamics within your home, the dynamics with your family, right? Because Venus rules your 7th house of relationships. You got a retrograde there right now. So this eclipse can bring a meltdown, but the eclipse can also bring a clearing. And to be honest with you, these are very positive cards. And I think that the outcome is positive because maybe you've been in your head a little bit, right? Especially with Queen of Swords. It's somebody who's, really focusing on mental clarity, maybe meditating, maybe journaling, Maybe they've been, thinking over a conversation they want to have with somebody, really deciding like where their boundaries are and how to be more assertive and like really tell people like what's up and what they need. What's amazing is that is followed by the Two of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. So the clarity with others leads to better and healthier relationships, right? Which I would say anyway with the Mercury retrograde being in your 7th, but the Two of Cups is coming together with another person, having togetherness, having more opportunities for relationships, two being stronger than one. Now that can be you and an accountant, you and a therapist, you and a significant other. It could be you in a relationship to a friend or a client. It's not limited, but definitely Taurus being a sign that's ruled by Venus, it's going to be about what you need for security, right? Because it's an earth sign. So it can be whether or not you want to tell somebody, that you want to be with them or they don't give you enough security. It can be whether or not you feel like somebody's paying you enough. It can be whether or not you feel like, somebody is like a solid person who's actually enriching your life. You have support from other people coming. You also have the final card being the Ten of Pentacles. So what's really amazing is that the Ten of Pentacles is, first of all, completion, right? So tens in tarot represents, wrapping up all of the lessons of that element. Well, the element of Earth, Pentacles, is about money, health, stability, long-term planning, goals. Tens is like sitting on top of, your throne being like, okay, I feel solid going into the future. So it may be a period where, you realize like, I really want to have a long-term partner, or I really want to get married, or I really want to start a business with someone, or I really want to establish like a long-term working relationship with a therapist or somebody who can support me. And you're investing in that. You're investing your time, you're investing your energy into this. Generally, the Ten of Pentacles is an indication of good health. It's also an indication of healthy finances, successful businesses, and perhaps even like long-standing commitments that you're going to have with other people. So I know that you're like, well, what does the universe want me to know? But, these cards seem to suggest that this is much more of a focus on you telling other people what you want. And then you go, do you want to join me in this? Because this is my plan. Are you going there with me? And I would say do that. It's important to do that, but realize that you're getting squares to your Venus, so you have to let go of the past and you have to deal with some domestic stuff or some emotional stuff. You've also got retrogrades in your 7th, so there is a sense of reevaluating relationships to other people, but Jupiter will be there soon. And so what you have to learn through the Jupiter transit is that having a guide is really helpful. And I talked about this in my horoscopes, having a therapist, having an astrologer, having a really positive, supportive partner. And if you don't have any of those things, you're going to be looking for it. You're getting really clear and learning how to communicate your needs better so you can find the right people who are going to be falling into your long-term plans, right? Awesome cards. It looks really, really great. And it looks like that's what you're going to be doing. Let me know how that sounds. We've got Kimberly. Do you see me and Virgo taking a trip in the next 4 to 6 weeks? You're welcome, Jules. So Kimberly wants to know, will her and the Virgo be taking a trip? Let's see. Scorpio Sun, Sag Rising, Sag Moon, Sag Venus. That's a lot of Sag. How does all that Sag do with a Virgo? Do you drive them crazy? I'm getting the impression there is like this feeling of like really trying to, like you're having to do a lot of work to like corral him or get this person to like commit or like really cement down a place, a date, a time. Like it seems like that's what's going on. Which is weird because Virgos like to plan, right? Usually it's the other way around. Sag is like, let's go. But Seven of Wands coming up is saying like there is some pushback or there is some challenge, or maybe that you guys are both actively being like, yes, we want to do this. And you're like, okay, let's do it. You know, let's do it now. Like, let's get it going. Seven of Wands is being the person who's on top of the situation. So I'm also wondering if there's something going on where you're feeling like, you're the party coordinator. Does something not get done unless you do it? If you're not the person who's calling that him or checking in with them or being like, hey, let's plan something, does it happen on its own? Seven of Wands is about wanting to be on top of, like I said, the situation and feeling like you're seeing something all the way through. So I think that you're adamant about wanting to go and do something. I know if you're a Sagittarius rising, part of what's going to be happening right now is you got Saturn going in your whole sign fourth. So at some point, Saturn is squaring your ascendant, squaring your descendant, and it's like throwing an anchor overboard and feeling like you're stuck at home all the time. So it doesn't mean you can't go anywhere, but you're definitely going to feel that there's going to be challenges because you're also seeing Saturn, come into squares with Venus recently. Venus is going through your seventh. It's now going to square Neptune. So you're like, why are you not giving me clarity about where we're going? I do think that there is a sense of him wanting to go. The King of Wands coming up is saying like, maybe it's a matter of him feeling like, okay, when I have the time or the space or the mindset, I'm ready to, actively participate, I will. I feel, to be honest with you, this person can be very particular because the Five of Wands coming up with the Five of Swords, maybe this feeling where you're like, okay, like I want to do this and I keep asking him. And then when you bring it up, there can be like a flare up where he's like, like when I have time, I told you when I have time, we'll do this. But you're never really making plans. The King of Wands can be somebody who wants things a specific way. So they want to go somewhere, but they want to go where they want to go. They want to stay at a hotel, but it needs to be of a certain caliber. They want to go out to eat, but it needs to be a certain cuisine. There is a sense of a little bit of combativeness that's going on with this person. So I don't know if you guys have two different ways of traveling. If you're like, I don't care where I go as long as I'm in a different, area code, like I'm down to travel. And he has a different way of doing things, or he can be more particular. So there can be a sense of pushback that you're getting from actually, finally making plans with this person. But I don't think it's that he doesn't want to go. I want to really reiterate that. Because the King of Wands coming up in the center position is like that person actively being like, yeah, we're going to do it. It's going to happen. Five of Swords makes me feel like there can be some hurt feelings, some misunderstandings, somebody taking it personally, or somebody, trying to actively put something together, bringing it up, and the other person being like, now is not the time, and like getting their feelings hurt. So I'm wondering, are you once again trying to be the person who's putting this together, or you keep bringing it up and you keep feeling like it's not the right time, or he's making excuses, or there's delays, or there's always something that's kind of getting in the way? If you're feeling like that, rather than letting it get to a point where you bring it up and somebody gets snappy and then you're like getting your feelings hurt, bring it up, right? The confirmation card that I got is the Star card. I feel that you will do something, but I feel like it may get delayed and you're going to get your feelings hurt, or you're going to feel like it's not a priority and it's going to be something that's going to continue to get pushed off. And I want you to basically be like, listen, I really want to go and do something with you. I brought it up a couple times. If you don't want to go, I would rather you just let me know so I'm not getting my hopes up or getting my feelings hurt. And there is a way to take this situation and remedy it and actually like make it better. The Star card is a confirmation card for healing. So it is saying that you can heal or fix the situation. Once again, the Star card also deals with Aquarius, which is friends. So waiting for friends to kind of coordinate. It may mean that, you say to him, like, look, I know you're waiting for other people, but, is it possible that we can, like, can we go and do something? Does it have to necessarily be with friends? And let him know that you have been waiting and that you are ready. And the weird thing is that now it makes sense if you're waiting on other people. The Seven of Wands is you have to go through him. You are not the one who's going to call and arrange things with his friends. You're actually trying to motivate him to get him to make a decision. Let him know that, and also let him know that you're putting things on hold, because the Five of Swords can be getting hurt or having miscommunications and like not being completely clear about what sacrifices you're making or things that you're putting on back burner because you're waiting for him, right? But eventually, yeah, I would say somewhere between like 5 and 7 weeks. Perhaps, this is something that you're going to do even over the full moon that you're going to have in Aquarius, because that's the sign card that's coming up. But I think it's like really letting him know that, hey, I need to get going. We need to do something. And also as transits, go through your your ninth house, being a Sag rising, it's a good time for traveling. So you're going to have, all kinds of energy of planets going through there. and the eclipse that you just had in your 5th house. I mean, some places you will travel back to this year. So I don't know if you know that, but with the retrogrades, you'll go back and visit places that you have been in the past. So if you guys can't swing this, doing something with other people, it's important to let him know that you really want to get out and do something, and maybe you guys can do something together, right? Don't let him rely on the excuse with his friends. Hopefully that's helpful. And let's see, we've got G. And then Lisa. You're welcome. G says, how is my new job going to be for my career? June 18th, 1993. Let's take a look. So how is your new job going to be for your career? Oops. The 2 of Cups jumped out. Are you having to quit one position to start a new position? Is there anything like that going on? Starting a new job on the 23rd as a manager. You got this in our chart reading. Oh yeah, I remember all your placements. Are you quitting something though? Yeah, well the 2 of Cups jumped out, so I'm like, okay, so a relationship's ending. I don't know. I kind of feel like the job that you're leaving, like they're not going to want you to go. Like there's going to be a sense of like disappointment and then being like, no, wait, what? And it may be difficult. I don't know if you have friends that you work with. I don't know if you've worked there for a while. Obviously the 3 of Swords is a difficult card, but it's in the past position. So there is some sense of people being like, you know, don't go, or like, we need you. Yeah, they're trying to keep you. Yeah, there's no keeping you. I mean, here's the deal. The fact that that's coming up in the past is good. Yes, it's a difficult decision. With the 3 of Swords, there's always this sense of being like, oh, I'm breaking somebody's heart, or this is breaking my heart, or like, it's hard for me to move on, but I got to do it. You know, the Page of Pentacles coming up also is like you being like, look, I have to invest in myself. It's not just that you're making a linear move. You're not going from, you know, the same position just into another like company. Page of Pentacles is being like, I'm going to get more experience. I'm going to get better experience. I'm going to have more potential to grow into this position in the future and make more money and make something of myself. So they go and they get some kind of like, you know, training, right? Even if you're not necessarily getting trained, they can be an apprentice. So sometimes you get into a position with this card where it's like you end up having people who work above you, who mentor you and guide you, and they can become like teachers and gurus that can really groom you to do very well working for a company or a similar position in the future. So it's the start of something new for you that you're learning about finances. Then you have the 7 of Cups coming up where it tells me that you're like, wow, anything is possible. Like there's so many different, you know, directions this could go in. I do feel like it can be overwhelming because the 7 of Cups coming up can be like this sense of being like, but what if it doesn't work out? And I don't really know anything and I don't know anybody and this is all new. Like, don't worry about that. Like, try to replace the fear with excitement, especially because I feel like this is a position where you could relocate and probably go anywhere, where you could travel, you could have other experiences. You could also, you know, move into other departments. And so it's a little bit more fluid. There is a sense of you also like being able to feel more inspired by this position or this job that you're going to be doing. The Knight of Swords was your confirmation card. Okay. So that tells me that also it's getting you thinking about all of the new things that you're going to be learning, right? So you're going to learn a lot in this position. Maybe you're traveling. Maybe you're learning about other cultures, other languages, other forms of exchange in some way. Maybe it's allowing you to be a little bit more active and be going back and forth to places. But this is a good move for you. I think that even though, you know, the place that you've been working, they're going to miss you. What you have within this position, not only in terms of experience, but also feeling like you're going to have more freedom and more diversity. I think it's worth making the move, personally. I'm just catching up with what you're saying. They try to keep me, difficult decision. Yeah. So, you know, the Knight of Swords coming up, I think I would really pay attention to also like your intuition, because the swords can be talking about downloading information and picking something up, or it can be about being like in tune and being able to read between the lines. That coming up with the 7 of Cups makes me feel like you're learning how to like let your either knowledge or experience or your intuition kind of guide the way when it comes to making decisions about this current position. You'll probably be there for a while too, because the Page of Pentacles does not make a commitment to something unless it's like, no, I'm trying to move up in ranks within this particular field or within this particular company. So yeah, and I don't know what this is with the 7 of Cups. Like, will you be traveling? Is there going to be like opportunities to like go to networking events? Like, is there some more creative element to this? Is it going to give you more room to not necessarily like be in like a stuffy position where you're just doing the same thing day in and day out? It's a very creative card. That's why I asked. What's up, Patrick? How about that hail today? You missed it. We were in and out of the live when we first started. It was a bit of a mess in here. So we've got Lisa. Thank you for your patience. You were my last person. Lisa says, 1 card drawing. My boyfriend was laid off from a great job, but it was a startup and they ran out of money. Is fitness training or 3D printing or something else the way to go as the most beneficial choice? He's a little gun shy with getting something started. Also, a couple weeks ago, I organized my own space completely to fit the role of getting a side gig going, of being motivating and organized, and I feel great and ready to go. I love that. Scorpio Sun, Sag Rising, Cancer Moon. Let's take a look. I love that as Jupiter, his chart ruler, is going into the 6th house soon. Next month, he's going to be starting some kind of a new position. He will start something new. And the 6th house is fitness. Jupiter is knowledge. So if he has any knowledge there, especially if he has knowledge about dietary things and not just how to use weights or machines or train, but does he know anything about food? That's really important if he's got Taurus in the 6th house, because he can also do like customized meal plans, and he can maybe even, you know, collaborate with maybe somebody locally who does meal preps, and do some kind of like kickback for, you know, referrals. He could get a job at a gym. That for me is what comes to mind, but also he's going to want to do creative stuff because Taurus is ruled by Venus. So let's see what the card says. So a couple things. Something about maybe something mobile, right? So the Chariot is like things are going to rapidly progress. Like something's going to change very suddenly. And I do think that that's true because we're going to see he's wrapping up an eclipse in his 12th house where he's going to get out of his own way mentally. And then you're going to see that all this energy is going to stabilize in Taurus in his 6th house. The Chariot can be about literally going and getting a job out of the home, going and getting a job where he goes to people's homes, getting a job where he has to kind of move around a little bit. You know, Jupiter going into the 6th house, believe it or not, can be like moving, you know, helping people move, helping people stage, helping people in home. There can be something connected to that as well. The Chariot does talk about travel, transportation, things shifting quickly, stuff changing within his home base. That's why I'm bringing some of that stuff up. Fitness and nutrition. Sag makes his legs look like horses. Because Jupiter is about knowledge, and it's going into his 6th house, I think that's the best use right now. You will see when the North Node goes into Aries, which is going to be in July, it's going to move into his 5th house, and that's going to be more about the actual fitness. But I feel like if he were to go and get a job where he's working for a private fitness studio, or maybe he's organizing private training outside, Taurus is about being out in nature, I would recommend that maybe he tries to do like a group where people who want to do private training but they can't, maybe he can get, you know, a half dozen people or so who want to be trained in a group, and they can go and meet outside, and they could do it outside, like, you know, like outside training at a reduced rate compared to what he would get as a private trainer. And if he wanted to do consultations in one-on-one and talk to people about what their fitness goals are, what they want to gain, what they want to lose, their body type, and he talks to them about food, encourage him to work with local people. So maybe he can find like a chef or somebody who does meal planning, and he can do some kind of collaboration like with packages or referrals. That would be really great with his transits. And maybe even offer house calls, as crazy as that sounds with the Chariot. But things are going to progress pretty quickly. You're going to see that. Just remind him that over the summer when the North Node gets into his 5th house, that's when he can do much more focus on his fitness. And I would also say that he's got to take a lot of pictures of his own personal body and like his own story or his own process with his own fitness stuff, because the 5th house is his personal stage. Aries is going to be all about fitness in the body. It may also be younger people, and he might really benefit by working with men, and men that may also be like into like training or fighting or MMA or some kind of connection to like combat sports, as crazy as that sounds. That would be really positive. So I wonder, like, does he get a job doing some kind of training and helping people bulk up and, you know, learn more about self-defense? That would be really, really great actually with the North Node going into his 5th house. Kickboxing, cool. Yeah, anything like that that's going to be more combat related, perfect, especially over the next year or two. And it doesn't even have to be people who want to do it professionally. He may know enough about it that he can incorporate that into his training and maybe be able to find like a space or a center that he can do some kind of work with. So that way he can really kind of diversify, but he's going to see a lot of opportunity working with like men who are going to be into that kind of stuff. But let him know things are about to change very, very quickly. The retrograde right now is just about him getting reorganized and figuring out what the next step is. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful. I think that's everyone. Pretty sure. Just a couple reminders. So if you guys haven't already seen my horoscopes, check out my horoscopes. They are out for the month of May. They're long because the astrology in May is just so wild. I'll be back on Sunday. We're going to do astro weather. We're going to talk about all the transits for the month of May. We're going to do a very specific breakdown of day by day for all the big ones. So you guys want to catch that on Sunday morning. Next week, we are going to be doing live astrology, but it will not be on Friday. So I'll put that in the community tab. I'm going to let everybody know throughout the week because Friday will be the eclipse and I'm not doing eclipse readings. So it'll probably be Thursday night that we're going to do it. Thursday or Sunday, probably Thursday. So look for that. I'll post that. Please give me guys a thumbs up if you can. Like the stream before we finish the live. It's really helpful. It helps also with getting all that onto YouTube. Thank you so much for spending your Friday night with me. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see all of you back here on Sunday. Take care.